Good afternoon. Today is the 15th of March and it's time for yet another not particularly interesting, very vague and probably quite boring vlog. So today we're off on hopefully a little mission to work out what's wrong with the Nissan Sunny. Now, I was hoping to bring the car to the Lloyd Vehicle Consulting Lot 76 Cars and Gentles Garage event last weekend that you would have seen on the channel, but unfortunately the day before I was due to bring it up, we had a problem with the electrics on the car. Now, I was just going about day-to-day business. I was just using the Sunny that week just to enjoy it, because I hadn't actually driven it for about 10 months, and something really strange happened. So obviously it just had a lot of work. It's had a new engine, it's had an MOT, it's had all sorts of other things sort of fixed on it, but the car just did this very bizarre thing. It first hinted it when I was literally just about to drive it away from Mr. Coleman's house. He's been looking after it for 10 months, where the rev counter just dropped off and stopped working. I think he was tightening the battery terminal or something like that at the time. The battery on the car is just one that someone happened to have. It wasn't one I paid for or anything, and we thought it would be absolutely fine. So I just started the car up, and I noticed that the instruments weren't working properly. I thought the rev counter's died. I thought, well, that's not a big problem. The rev counter did that a while ago, and maybe that's just sort of what it does. Maybe it will come back in a moment. But I noticed the fuel gauge and temperature gauge weren't working, and I went to indicate to come out of a road. The indicators weren't working at all. Now, strangely enough, the hazard light switch still worked. You could still turn the lights on in the car with the stalk. So I thought, well, the stalk's probably working properly. Well, the hazard lights are working, so it's not the bulbs. What on earth is it? So I tucked it up somewhere, and I spoke to Mr. Coleman, and he said it might be the battery, because the battery might not quite be the right one for that car. It would have been adequate, but maybe it's not the right one, so go and get a new battery for it. So we did, and after an awful lot of pain and bad language and other things, because I'm so bad at mechanics that I can't really change a battery on my own, even a really simple one like a Sunny. I'm not really able to do that. That's just the way that I am. I haven't tried certain things. It doesn't go very well. So, we just about managed to change it with some help from my lady wife and my father-in-law. And the car was exactly the same. No indicators, gauges still not working. Speedo was working, but the other gauges, no. And I was not really very happy on that day, as you can imagine. Not very happy at all. My lady wife did not see the best side of me. So, but I needed to go to Sussex for the event. I jumped in the Volvo and just drove it there. The Volvo, of course, is working fine. So the car's been sitting up for about a week or so, and my friend Mr. Partridge, who helps me out occasionally, who also has another Volvo and various other interesting cars like a Morris Minor Traveller and an Austin Maxi. He is going to help me out and see if we can actually work out what's going on. It's definitely some kind of earthing fault or fuse or something else. We don't actually quite know, because Mr. Coleman lives 125 miles away from me, so I can't call him in to come and do it for me. So Mr. Partridge is going to help me, and we will see exactly what's going on. I will show you when we get there what the actual issue is, and hopefully we'll be able to solve it.
Okay, viewers, let me show you what the issue is. So this car is on a carburettor. It's got an automatic choke, so press the throttle once and turn the key. Starts up just fine. As you can see though, if I give it a little rev, which then quietens down the engine a little bit, we've got absolutely no gauges working. The speedo's on I think a cable, so that will work if we went for a drive, but we've got nothing else. We've got no temperature gauge, no fuel gauge. The ammeter light is on here, this one, but you can't see it very well. And if I activate the indicators, nothing. If I turn the lights on, you can't really see because it's daylight, but the lights actually do come on. I can show you better with the clock. So there's the clock. You see it's a little bit different, so the lights are actually working. But if it has lights on, they work absolutely fine. So that's actually the problem we're having with the car. So it's not very safe really to drive around with no indicators, which is why I haven't done that. So I'm going to turn this off and I'll wait for Mr. Partridge to arrive. He should be here soon, and we'll see what we can do. So we've put this brand new battery on it, which didn't solve the problem, unfortunately. Now the car's got two fuse boxes. It's got one here and it's got one over here. So yeah, it's not that complicated really, this thing. We suspect it might be a problem with this earth over here. There is actually an earth that goes to the gearbox as well. It could be something else entirely, we're not quite sure yet, but just waiting for Mr. Partridge to come, and no doubt he will see if he can identify the problem a lot better than I can. So viewers, what we've done is, if I look at show you this diagram here, you can see on the right hand side at the top it says meter 10 amp fuse. Mr. Brisdian, who I spoke to the other night, has been using a 20 amp fuse in here, which looks this if it just focus on it, there we go, it's a 20 amp fuse. You can see the connectors on there aren't particularly good. If I just get a clean 20 amp fuse out here, you can see that they are, come on, nice and shiny. So what we're going to do is put one of these back in. This is a standard 10, which should be the one used. We put one in already, and I'm going to keep these here. Mr. Brisdian, for some reason, he changed the 10 amp for a 20 amp. I don't know, he said that it kept blowing. But if I start the car now, we can do this with one hand, come tight, come on. So rather than before, fuel gauge is going to move, there you go, the fuel gauge is moving. We don't have the ammeter light on, and what I didn't point out before was that the handbrake light and the door light weren't on. So you can see the temperature gauge is obviously cold, so the engine's cold, but the rev counter is working. So as I said, Mr. Brisdian said that he'd had problems with this fuse going before, and he just kept putting other fuses in. I think what it is, that fuse is still working. Mr. Partridge has run the multimeter through it, and that fuse is actually still working, the one I showed you, the 20 amp. So we think there's sort of like a bad connection on that particular fuse, and that's been what's happening. We've got old fuses or whatever. So we're going to put this standard 10 amp fuse in, and if the problem happens again, I've been shown how to change the fuse over. It's not really difficult, just to make sure you take the right one out. In this little box, sort of down here, it's one at the top right, but you can't really see it very well. It's on the top right there. I think we're going to go with this. We're now going to just see if the new battery we put in, which was supposedly we didn't need to, if that is just to be returned to the shop where I bought it. If we can't, that's fine. I have obviously now a spare battery, but I think for now we're going to leave that as it is.
Right viewers, we are on the way back. I'm going to have this car fixed. All the dials are working. Got the original battery back in the car, which we didn't actually need in the end, so I'm going to return that and get some money back. The car is running really well. It'll be the first show for the car tomorrow in a place called Botley Grange that's near Southampton. Most of you though will have already seen the video in advance of this very vague vlog, so I don't know why I'm telling you that. If you do wish to see the very vague vlogs, then if you are on the Rover 45 V6 or SEAT Toledo channel memberships tiers, then you get to see these videos about 3 weeks in advance. It's one of the main advantages of having those memberships. Of course, those of you who aren't, who are on the Fiesta Mark 7 channel membership, then you'll see these at the sort of normal time, which is fine. It's all up to you what you want to do. I don't put content forever behind a paywall or anything. So there we go. I'm very grateful to everybody who does contribute in that way, but don't feel you have to. I'd much rather you just watch the videos all the way through, subscribed and commented, and actually liked the videos, and that really means a lot. That makes a huge difference. Anyway, thank you to Mr. Partridge for fixing the car. I do have some spare fuses here, just in case this happens again. I don't think it will, but you never know with 36-year-old cars. Sometimes they throw you one or two issues that you're not expecting. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. And we shall see you again for some more very vague and not particularly interesting music.